This is Good Morning Jacksonville.
Right now on Good Morning Jacksonville at 4:30, an alleged peeping Tom on the prowl in the Argyle area. We're talking to the Argyle Forest family who wants this man off the streets. Plus, a new phone scam in Jax Beach, what you need to know to protect your wallets and your personal information. And some of the Jags return to minicamp today. Our First Coast Sports team has a look at what you can expect to see from the Big Cats. Hey, good morning to you. I'm Katie Jeffries. It is Tuesday morning. Thank you for waking up with us. We've got meteorologist Mike Prangley here with us. 4:30, we know it's early. And Mike, it's actually National Making Life Beautiful Day.
Well, we're going to make life beautiful for everybody because we have a great Father's Day weekend forecast coming up. A beautiful start this morning that includes a nice sunrise and then going stormy once again.
But we need the rain, so I'm not going to be upset about it.
We do. So beautiful day, and you can almost set your watch now to the rain. It seems like every single day. Well, let's take a look at what's going on. First of all, heading out the door, we've got 73 degrees in Jacksonville, 74. Good morning, St. Augustine. Yes, making this a beautiful day in Brunswick. I like to say it's always a beautiful day in Brunswick with 74 degrees. Now, we've had some heavy rain across the areas we know. Yesterday, we had another gully washer, especially to the west side. So, yeah, you see the white areas. That's indicating the heavier fog across the area. So toward the west side, western Duval near Cecilport, and then back toward Clay County, Camp Blanding area with the thickest fog this morning. But weather impacts, we're still talking lightning, heavy rain, flooding and wind, but there has been a change today. I do think we have a higher risk of some slower moving storms. So flood advisory, street flooding, the main threat there, and then wind, a couple of gusty storms as well. So have your weather apps handy, heading out the door. Green light goes 75, and then some gusty storms. Rain time 3 to 8 o'clock with that high of 90. Now let's get to Katie with the latest.
Thank you, Mike. So new this morning, a suspicious man was caught on camera peeping through a family's window. Now, this happened in the Argyle Forest neighborhood, and the family tells us the same man came by twice in one night. On your sides, Cameron Eppinger joins us from the family's home.
Well, this is a very disturbing story coming out of this Argyle Forest neighborhood. That man was caught on the family's doorbell camera that they had just installed last year. And now they're hoping that this crystal clear surveillance video will help catch this creep and get him off the streets.
And we don't know where he came from.
An alleged peeping Tom on the prowl Sunday night in this Argyle Forest neighborhood.
I'm so afraid. And I don't know what to do.
Richie Burgos was home with her 10-year-old disabled son. Her husband, John, was at work.
I'm really very worried that something bad might happen to my family.
Their Ring doorbell camera caught this man peeping through a window on their doorstep. After getting the alert on her phone, Richie called police. And when cops arrived,
they actually looked at the detector and they saw that clearly there was a man that's trying to rob my house.
However, initially, what this family didn't realize is that this was the creep's second time around.
Because he actually came at 12:33, then after 25 minutes, came back at 12:58. So he really wants to make sure that there is nobody in the house.
The family has since installed more cameras around the house and are now warning other residents in the community.
And I feel that we have to be more vigilant with what's happening in our neighborhood, and we have to secure not only our property, but ourselves.
And here's just another look at that man who was caught on camera. If you recognize him, you're urged to pick up the phone and call police. For now, reporting in Argyle Forest, Cameron Eppinger, First Coast News, on your side.
Your time is 4:32. Let's hit the fast lane, get a look at your top local headlines. City Council will meet to discuss a half-cent sales tax for Duval schools. DCPS is encouraging parents and concerned residents to show up and voice their opinions. Several schools are in desperate need of repairs. If City Council approves the measure, it would be a public vote, likely next November. A local murderer has been sentenced to death after he admitted to killing his cellmate. Kraft has waived his right to a jury trial for the sentencing back in March. We will now be appointed a public defender where an automatic appeal process will begin. Beach's Energy Services want to warn customers about a scam. They say someone is calling customers and threatening to turn off their power if they don't receive a payment. They're even leaving an automated message that sounds like Beach's Energy and trying to trick you into paying them. If you get one of these calls, hang up immediately. Happening today, a new medical marijuana dispensary is opening in Jacksonville. VitaCan is located along Sunbeam Road. This is the company's 12th location in Jacksonville. VitaCan has over 30 strains available and offers free delivery to first-time patients. 1,474. That is the number of kittens the Jacksonville Humane Society has rescued and taken in just so far this year. Now the shelter is at capacity. It cannot take any more animals. On your sides, Nick Perot is in Riverside with more on this story.
It turns out you can have too much of a good thing. In this case, a cute thing. Inside the Jacksonville Humane Society and online, you'll see the clever sales pitch telling you not to kidnap. The Humane Society says it's a misconception that the mother will leave her newborn kittens and her milk is best for their growth and they should be left alone until about 8 weeks. While Lindsay Leyendecker fosters kittens from time to time, she adds the shelter is simply overwhelmed. They've added an additional 100 kittens in the last week alone.
To you, 3 more kittens in our system may not be that big of a deal, but to us, 3 more kittens is not coming in that day is a wonderful thing. So if you can foster them in place, we have tools that can help you. We'll provide you with supplies if we have them. We'll let you know about our veterinary partners who are willing to help.
So Putnam County Animal Shelter is also at capacity and has planned an event this Friday. Clay County has over 130 cats or kittens at their shelter as well. In St. Johns County, a major controversy brewing over short-term rentals like Airbnbs. Dozens of people lined up to give the city commission their opinions. Some neighbors say those rentals are driving long-term residents out by creating a shortage of rentable properties.
The Airbnbs are damaging our streets, our sidewalks. They're not paying their fair share of impact.
So St. Augustine City Commissioners are accepting applications from people who live in the city to serve on a commission to look closer at this issue. Those applications will be up for review in about 2 weeks. Your time is now 4:36. The Jaguars' 3-day mandatory mini camp starts this morning, but not all of the top players will be in attendance. A look at who you can expect to see return to the field when we return.
All right, I'm ready for some football and get ready for some more rain. Lightning returns to the area by 3 p.m. across Jacksonville. That it does include, though, some stronger storms. We'll take a look at that in our steamy sunrise coming up.
The Jags' 3-day mandatory minicamp starts this morning, and all eyes are on Yannick Ngakoue. Now, the Pro Bowl defensive end won't be in attendance because of his contract. First Coast Sports' Mia O'Brien has a preview of what you can expect for this week.
So I had a script written for this Jaguars minicamp preview, and then this bombshell dropped. Needless to say, as we prepare for the next 3 days of mandatory Jaguars practice, Yannick Ngakoue's absence will be the biggest storyline to follow. Mostly because it was only a few weeks ago at OTAs when he said this.
It just shows you how much I love the game, and that's why I want to be out here and help some guys out.
Of all the players drafted in 2016, the top sack getter resides right here in Duval. In fact, no edge rusher has more combined sacks and hits on the QB than Ngakoue over the past 2 years. We'll have to wait and see when they show him the money. Another player drafted by the Jags in 2016 will be in attendance. Jalen Ramsey flew in last week and was at the facility Monday for Media Day. What will he say when our cameras get rolling tomorrow? Well, at least we know he's excited to play with Josh Allen.
Thanks.
And finally, Doug Marrone and the Jags have taken a very different approach to injuries this offseason. So will we see any of the players who've been banged up so far in OTAs? Marrone said rookie running back Ryquell Armstead is out until training camp, and he only suffered a minor hamstring injury. Josh Allen was in the house taking some pics on Media Day. Interested to see if he's on the field today. It all gets going bright and early this morning. Oh, and we're supposed to hear from Jalen later today, so make sure you come on back to First Coast News later tonight. Mia O'Brien, First Coast Sports.
Turning to baseball now, the Montgomery Biscuits scored 9 runs on 8 hits last night, defeating the Jumbo Shrimp 9-4. The same 2 clubs will be back at it again this afternoon. First pitch at 12:05 p.m. And Mike, we live in Florida. It's that time of year where we have a lot of pop-up thunderstorms. Saw some yesterday, but are we going to see a pop-up storm, or are you think an extended like line of rain
Yeah,
today.
a few hours of storm. So what makes this pattern different is we've got this upper level low, and this is really has some tropical DNA with this. It's a moisture the source that has actually tried to form into a tropical system last week. So we're seeing, instead of a pop-up storm that lasts maybe 20-30 minutes like we normally see here at home, we've got several hours to watch radar starting this afternoon into this evening, and a couple of the storms could be on the strong side. But let's get to that jumbo shrimp forecast. Hey, it's a special day out at the ballpark. It's the businessman special or businesswoman special. I mean, we're talking a hot one, a good way to maybe cool off with a little ice cream in the ball cap, one of my favorite things to do. I get the little swirl there. 87 degrees for the first pitch. And then storm time. Yeah, it seems like every day, right? You can almost set your watch. Storm time as we head toward 3 o'clock. So I think we can get the game in, but heading home, be extra careful because we've got some slow-moving thunderstorms today. So with that slower southwest wind, I think an hour or two later compared to yesterday on the rain, and I do see some of these storms dropping enough rain in some localized areas, 1, 2, 3 inches just from one thunderstorm, that we could have some street flooding. We'll talk more about that. Go to Futurecast, and of course, take care of Dad for Father's Day weekend.
We swore as a community that is Orlando strong, that we would never forget those who we lost, their stories, their images, and their lives.
Florida lawmakers hope to establish the Pulse nightclub as a federally recognized national memorial. The legislation would honor the 49 lives lost in the nightclub shooting in June of 2016. At the time, it was the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. Now, new this morning, a former University of Florida football star has been charged with killing his wife. Earl Antonio Joyner was arrested on Saturday for the second-degree murder in 2016, the killing of his wife, Hazel Obando. Now, the 26-year-old's body was discovered in her apartment on Valentine's Day. In your health news this morning, the measles outbreak showing no signs of slowing down. According to the latest data from the CDC, there were 1,022 confirmed cases in 28 states. That's an increase of 41 cases from the previous week. Idaho and Virginia were the latest states to report cases. New York continues to be the hardest hit state, with the majority of cases occurring in people who were not vaccinated. Now to a consumer alert. Be very careful before you fill up your gas tank in Jacksonville. 14 skimmers have been found at local gas stations last month alone. There are more than 250 found across the state of Florida. Florida Commissioner Nikki Fried is urging you to take precautions. With just one swipe, she says your personal information is immediately in the hands of criminals.
If you're using a debit card and they have your number and PIN number, they can go and empty your bank.
So you don't need any special technology to detect a skimmer. All you need is your cell phone, and here's how you do it. Go to Settings, hit Bluetooth. If you see a long string of letters and numbers trying to connect, that's a red flag, and likely that pump has been tampered with. To see a list of which local stations were hit, go to firstcoastnews.com. First Coast News is on your side getting answers this morning. A cancer patient learned that her health care coverage is being affected simply because she moved from St. Augustine to Jacksonville. Now she's afraid she won't be able to finish her cancer treatment. That's when she called On Your Side's Ken Amaro for help.
September 2018 changed everything for Linda Vick.
It's been tough. It's been very tough.
Her diagnosis of stage 2 breast cancer would take her to the darkest moments of her life.
My oncologist said, if you do everything that we ask you to do, you have an 80% chance of survival. If you don't, you only have a 20% chance of survival.
Vic did a double mastectomy. She posted before and after pictures on Facebook. She's recently completed chemo treatment. Her next phase is radiation.
My radiation is $40 every treatment. I have to have 6 weeks of treatment, and they're all in succession.
Vic used crowdfunding to help raise the funds to cover her out-of-pocket costs.
And that helped with my $3,400.
But since then, she moved from St. Augustine to Jacksonville.
I moved in with my daughter up here because all of my treatment centers are up here.
and was surprised to learn that her move impacted her health care coverage.
So then they called me last week and said, we have a problem.
Vic says the problem is her out-of-pocket expenses are now $5,500, and there's no credit for the $3,400 already paid.
So I put in a grievance. I also told them I was going to call a TV station.
Her health care insurance told us it will reach out to her ASAP.
I just need help. I almost said, just forget it, just forget it. I can't fight anymore.
Ken Amaro, First Coast News, on your side.
So Vicki told us her cancer treatment facility told her she'll be okay. Her insurance company told First Coast News it's researching what happened, and we'll keep you updated. Your time right now is 4:46. Amazon expanding its brand once again. This time it's got an option for those with low credit scores. The new plans, that's coming up in your national headlines.
In Midtown Manhattan, where everyone is still trying to figure out why a helicopter pilot tried to land on top of a skyscraper in Midtown Manhattan in the middle of the afternoon. It brought back disturbing memories of 9/11 as evacuees poured out of the buildings. But investigators say there is absolutely no connection to terrorism at this point. But still, the question is, why was the pilot even near the heart of the city, especially on a cloudy, rainy, foggy day? We'll have the latest coming up later on Today.
Taking a look out there towards your traffic. So we're taking a look towards 295 and Dunn Avenue. There was construction there overnight, but that has since been cleared, so you don't need to worry about that anymore. No crashes to report on your roadways at the moment. Coming up starting at 5, our Lana Harris will be talking you through your traffic.
Now, weather with your First Coast News storm experts, powered by AC Designs.
Good morning. Great to wake up with you and waking up to the calm ahead of another afternoon of thunderstorms. 73 degrees. Check this out. Yeah, that steam bath out there caused by that high dew point in the low 70s. South-southwest winds at 5. So all the ingredients we've seen the last several days, they're out there once again today. In fact, we love hearing from you out there, and good news is Madison's safe, but check out this picture. Yes, out charter fishing yesterday, and you have this shelf cloud. We had some cumulonimbus clouds out there that built to about 40,000 feet yesterday, and when they kind of look like a spaceship, it'll take a little spaceship shape here. That's an indication of some gusty winds like we saw. So today we go fishing this morning and get ready for some more stormy skies in St. Augustine to Jacksonville to Brunswick by this afternoon. This morning, zooming in on radar, areas of most concern like we saw yesterday, mainly along the Gulf Coast. But notice these showers are dissipating as they move inland, so no storm track necessary. That will change though this afternoon, but this flow is much slower than yesterday. So if you get under one of these thunderstorms, keep in mind we could see 1 to 3 inches of rain and some street flooding out there. So we're going to keep an eye on areas like Lake City, Waycross to the west of Jacksonville, I-75 by 1 o'clock. We'll reach Duval, Clay, St. Johns, Putnam County. Yes, by 3 o'clock, 3:30 toward the west side of St. Johns, and 4 o'clock off to the beaches, including St. Augustine and Jacksonville Beach. 7-day forecast. We said we'd take care of Dad, and we will. This pattern changes. Low pressure moves out. Brighter days move in by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with highs back near 90.
Thanks, Mike. Your time is now 4:51, so let's take a look at what is topping your national headlines this morning. Amazon is launching a new credit card for consumers who have no credit or bad credit. It's called Amazon Credit Builder, a new program in partnership with Synchrony Financial, and that offers shoppers a way to get Amazon's rewards credit card that may not otherwise be eligible. Card holders can eventually upgrade to an unsecured Amazon credit card after it's been determined that the account is in good standing, and the deposit will be refunded at that time. President Trump will be in Iowa today, first at a renewable energy facility and later at a fundraiser for the Republican Party of Iowa. He's expected to speak on his administration's accomplishments for American farmers and the proposed trade deal with Canada and Mexico that he says will help America's agricultural producers. Former Boston Red Sox David Ortiz has been flown to Boston after being shot in the back this weekend in the Dominican Republic. He is expected to receive further treatment at Massachusetts General Hospital. The investigation into the shooting is ongoing in the Dominican Republic. There is some good news here on the job front. The total number of workers hired by U.S. businesses reached a record high in April. According to the Labor Department, hiring increased from 5.9 million jobs for the month. This is the highest level since the Labor Department began keeping records back in 2000. So let's see what is trending this morning. Brooks joins us. Hey, Brooks, what is the buzz?
Hey, good morning to you, Katie. Yeah, first we have to talk about last night's game. It looks like Golden State Warriors, hey, they have another chance to fight. Here's the buzz. If the Toronto Raptors had won last night's game, it really would have been a wrap. But they managed to beat the Raptors 106 to 105. And if the Warriors are going to stay in it, they're going to have to do it without Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant came back from an injury. And some say maybe he came back a little too soon because he suffered a torn Achilles while dribbling. Now, Game 6 is on Thursday back in Cali, and tip-off is at 9 on ABC 25.
Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. Guess that's why they're broken. You're so fake.
All right, what y'all know about that? A street in Brooklyn, New York has been named in memory of the late rapper Notorious B.I.G. Friends and family, well, they gathered yesterday for the street naming ceremony of, get this, Christopher Notorious B.I.G. Wallace Way. Several people that are close to Wallace, they spoke at the ceremony, including his mother, his son, and rapper Lil' Kim. And Wallace was murdered in L.A. in 1997 at the age of 24. All right, Kim Kardashian West has released the first photos of her 4-week-old baby boy, Psalm West. The mother and mogul, well, she took to Instagram to share the photo with the caption, Psalm Yee. Now, we know this is Kim's second child via surrogate, the fourth with her husband, rapper Kanye West. Katie.
Thank you so much, Brooks. All right, so now that schools are out across the country, both kids and parents have a little more free time, and that often means couch time. Next, Raphael Seth has a look at what's new in in-home entertainment in this week's Video View.
You're not wrong.
You think that's cute?
Do you think it's cute?
Haley Lou Richardson has a fatal attraction in 5 Feet Apart. The Edge of 17 actress plays opposite former Disney kid Cole Sprouse in this young adult drama. They're both cystic fibrosis patients who have to keep their distance so they don't pass any dangerous infections, but medical science has not yet discovered a cure for the love bug. 5 Feet Apart is available on digital, DVD, and Blu-ray.
She died in the firestorm.
I'm so sorry.
All's fair in love and war in the aftermath. Keira Knightley's a World War II ingenue married to a British colonel. Jason Clarke is in charge of rebuilding Hamburg after the war and confiscates a local home for his own. But original owner Alexander Skarsgård is allowed to remain in the house, setting up a sexy detente when the colonel is called away. The aftermath is digital this week.
I want a lawyer. You and I both know those days are gone.
Ashton Sanders has more than just a close encounter in Captive State. The Moonlight star lives in a lockdown Chicago that's been taken over by space invaders, but John Goodman is trying to keep the peace by appeasing the extraterrestrial overlords, even if that means clamping down on human rebels who are looking for their own Independence Day. Captive State is on digital, DVD, and Blu-ray. That's the Video View. Raphael Seth, NBC News.
You have a job.
All right, check this out. The world's first 360-degree infinity pool is in the works in London. Now, the pool will sit on top of the 55-story building with a full view of the London skyline. That's incredible. The pool will be made of cast acrylic and will feature transparent sides and floors, so visitors below will be able to see the swimmers above them. Now, you would get inside the pool on a rotating staircase that rises up from the pool's floor. I'm fascinated by it.
I got the guts. I love it. I was wondering how you got in it.
The rotating staircase, but like
maybe
where?
Helicoptered in.
Coming in from above, baby.
All right, so 4:30 is wrapping up. First Coast News at 5 starts now.
This is Good